So I'm Donald Williams, the host of 25%. I wanted to start this podcast so I can be organic with everyone. I have so much knowledge to give. I feel that a lot of small business owners aren't getting it. They have to read a lot of books, and the books are not giving them the day-to-day. I think that a lot of the books are scripted, so I wanted to give people the unscripted truth. Let them know that, because people think that a business plan is what survives a business, but a business plan doesn't. A business plan helps you to convince someone else to give you a loan. But when you actually have to get out and work and have to make payroll when days that the company isn't making money, that's when I want you to see. Because I want to bring people in here that are my friends for my first show, but also as continuously business owners that have experienced things on the highs and the lows. And everybody looks at business owners that owns Amazons and that own Amazon and also that owns Facebooks and feels like it's automatic rich because you own a business. But I want you guys they're the guys that owns MySpace that aren't rich. I want you guys to see business owners that are like other platforms, social media platforms that put in hours and took and got investors and put in empty out their savings thinking because, hey, this idea that I have is something that's going to be the big break for me because social media apps are the way to go. But in all actuality, I tell people this all the time when I do business consulting. Everyone that tries to be a talk show host doesn't become an Oprah. You can get in the medium, you can get money, you can get millions. The investors invest their money with it because they feel the audience is going to, appeal to you. But I wanted to start this podcast, 25%, and to give back and make people know the unnaked truth. That is not that simple. It's not that easy. It's rewarding. But it requires a lot. It requires your time. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. And I'm saying I'm a lot. Again, as a business owner, I'm not a talk show host. Something that I'm new that I'm trying. So my first one, I'm pretty nervous. As you can see, I'm fumbling with my hands, but it's something that I have to do. But the name of my podcast is 25%. And it came from me talking to one of my best friends. He was like, Donald, I had a business situation, and I asked him, I said, how should I handle this? He said, well, with this situation, I'd rather have 25% of something than 100% of nothing. And I was like, wow. And after I learned that, my business grew because that was something that I implemented, and every day that I interacted with customers, I thought about it. When I was working deals and negotiating deals and people approaching me about certain things, and I was like, I'd rather have 25% of something than 100% of nothing. And when I started getting those quarters, they started adding up to dollars. And here I am today. My business grew, revenue doubled. My my staff has doubled. The amount of staff members that I have. Also, just the location. So I wanted to, that's why I started the 25% podcast. And I'm going to be true with you guys. I'm going to be candid. I'm going to be honest. You're going to get the downer. You're going to get the one that doesn't wear suits every day. You're going to get the guy that maybe some days just wake up and just like, shit, I got to go to work, and I'm putting on Crocs and sweatpants and T-shirts. So you will not see me with a suit and tie. I'm not going to convince you that this is how business is supposed to be. Because some days after hours, it ain't the suit and tie that gets the business. It's the time when you roll up your sleeves and you go have that drink sitting at the bar. It's not the suit and tie. It's the conversation. It's the relaxation. It's the making the person feel comfortable. It's the trust. When you build trust, like they said, a lot of the best deals are done on a golf course. You know why? Because they're relaxed. They're not playing Mr. Belvedere. They're not all in the, standing still like a soldier or like an army. So I brought one of my close friends on today to come open up the show because I felt like I wanted someone that I'm gonna be nervous as it is, but I wanted someone to dump that nervousness off. Someone that I can have a candid conversation, someone that knows me, someone that understands me, been my friend for over a decade, even when he was starting his business. We had a conversation earlier that we was walking up the street, had to meet at a coffee shop. And I've watched this man grown, and now he's in this big office, more staff in multiple states. And I also have one of my friends, he's also my trainer. So, he can look and see how fat I am on camera, and he can give me some tad bit advice. But his name is Ryan. He started his own business. So he's going to co-host the show with me today, my first one. So I wanted to bring people that's going to have me relax. because this is not what I do every day as a business owner. But as you know, and time is changing, we used to can put an ad in the yellow pages. Now the yellow pages doesn't exist. Everything is YouTube. Everything is social media. Everything is the internet. So I have to change. I have to get out the Stone Ages. I can't put up a billboard like I did when I first started my business and everybody ride around and be like, oh, that's Donald. We're going to support his business. It don't work anymore. People nowadays are more looking into their phone driving than they're looking around to see if somebody's going to mug them at the red light or if they're making a red light. So I wanted to bring on Buddy Huntley. He's the owner of Holston and Huntley. He's in multiple states, and he does injury. And he's going to explain to you what injuries are, because I told him I didn't know that all falls under injury. And I want him to explain about his business and talk about being a business owner. So I want you to come on in, my guy. Tell them about your business. You look like you froze already.
Hold on, buddy. Before we get started, on social media, did I hear you say MySpace?
Yeah.
Wow. Everybody in the room, let's give a round of applause for Donald for showing his age. Yeah. MySpace. Out of all these social media platforms, you go to MySpace.
Yeah, but you got to realize.
I don't think that's been around in 20 years, at least.
20, but, buddy, you do know we the same age, right?
I'm dead.
And one thing is for sure, he did not lie. He does have on Crocs.
Yeah, as we speak. Go ahead. So tell us about it.
I am attorney Buddy Huntley. I practice injury and bankruptcy law. Donald alluded to it for a second. Injury law can encompass a lot of things, from being hurt in an auto accident to a slip and fall to being a victim of a dog bite. So there are a multitude of things that involve injury, and I handle them all. I'm in the state of Georgia. I'm from Alabama, so I practice there as well. But injuries occur throughout the country. I have cases in Texas. I have cases in New York. I have cases in Illinois, Minnesota, Florida. So it happens everywhere.
So are those accidental cases or are those bankruptcy? Because I know bankruptcy is federal. You explained that.
Right.
So that's every state. So state laws are governed differently. So what are those cases in those different states? What type?
So those are injury cases. So there is more latitude in injury cases. With the bankruptcy cases, they're more specific to the actual state, and you have to have a different type of license for each state to practice. Whereas injury, you have a broader range of things you can do, because you essentially have to just have a law license and then work your way into the state. You can get counsel there to help you. With bankruptcy cases, they usually, it wouldn't be financially feasible for the person that needs the assistance and or my office to come. You know, if I had to fly out there to do a case, you know, that could be the whole fee, or I'd have to charge you more. And if you're going through it, you know, as with all of my business, my ultimate goal is to make sure that my client gets the best results. And sometimes that consists of me not getting the client. So,
okay.
You know, and that's one
How
thing.
You handle
about,
that?
that's
How you handle that?
That's one thing about business, because, you know, as long as I'm looking out for you, you're going to understand. You're going to always come to me first. And so that's how I always want it to be. Some days it might be my time to be your representative. Other days it might not be. But I can guarantee you, you're going to reach out to me first. And that's my goal as a business owner.
But you're not going to get my gift this year, because you normally used to send out gifts every year.
What? So you might want to check your mail. Right?
Yeah, but I want to ask you that about gifts.
Yeah.
How does that work with gifts, with you, with business? Because, you know, I look for them. I call you. I'm like, oh, man, I got it. But I do got it. Yes, I got it. But I just wanted to mess with you. But I wanted to know how is that, you know, because business owners, people feels like, you know, I got to start up my business and I got to market this way. But what I tell people all the time, the customer you got is the customer you have to keep.
Agreed. The goal is to stay in front of them. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to make sure people are thinking about you all the time. Like you said, it's no longer just billboards, commercials, although I do have those as well.
I saw your billboard on South Atlanta Road.
But it's not about that. It's about staying connected and engaged with, you know, your client, which are your base. Mm-hmm. You have to stay connected to your base. And different people do it different ways, you know, and trying to find different ways to keep it fun and exciting is, you know, part of business ownership. And that's just something that you always have to do, or have somebody developing that for you.
Okay.
Hold on. Speaking of staying engaged with your clientele, we live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
I don't know if people listen to the radio, but if you listen to the radio, you're always hearing about lawyers and they got a jingle going on or a song. Are you gonna engage in that? Thought about it? What's going on?
I have thought about it. You know, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but you know, when you're competing, you got to go out there and do things that is going to put you in the best position to compete. You know, I have a growth strategy, and eventually I plan to grow, and I won't have a choice because I've filled up all the other voids. So I got to come in here with something, and nobody's going to listen to somebody that's boring.
Yeah. So, but you got Buddy. I like Buddy. But is that your first name? No. Right? So how you decided to use Buddy as your name to pitch people, what helped you to do that as an attorney, Buddy, to make you give you the confidence like, hey, this is what I want to do, Buddy. This is it.
Well, I am your buddy. And it's simple. And it's something my mother calls me that, my grandmother calls me that. And it just, you know, it's easy to remember. And people have always related to it. I've always gone by it throughout my life, so why wouldn't I embrace it professionally? You know, it was nothing unprofessional about it, and it made it easier.
So I take it as like me, like I tell my clients when they come on, I want to be the guy that you invite to the barbecue. And so with that, Buddy, you're using Buddy by the name that's your family, so you're letting them know that you welcome them to be your family. So that's what I want to know. Like, how it makes you decide, like, hey, you're going to call me Buddy, not Mr. Huntley.
Yeah, well, that's just me. That's a personality. You know, and that's the thing about it. You at the end of the day, you have to be you. And, you know, that's just always been my personality. It just so happens to fit with being social and being able to relate to people. So no matter what you go through, you got to be able to relate to everybody, from somebody without anything to the richest person in the world, and be able to talk to them with the same confidence and just never lose yourself in the whole process. So I think that's just a testament to staying true to you, which is going to help your business grow.
You know, and I had the situation where in my business, you know, you have all walks of life of people and people financially on all different types of level. So, and with that, you know, you engage and you don't know which ones is wasting your time, you know, which ones really want your service and which ones can afford your service.
Right.
Because I tell everybody all the time, everybody that shop at Publix don't shop at Walmart and Whole Foods. They have their own base. They have their own clientele. And I'm sorry, I'm just not Walmart. You know, you got to come over here to Whole Foods. You got to be ready to get your organic food. Because in my profession, people has made it so easier to, because it's like, they feel like, okay, I can do it myself, do it on the phone, TurboTax and this and that. Yeah. But you got to realize you have to be knowledgeable of tax laws. You have to be knowledgeable of things. It's not just data entry of the forms that you're entering. So how did you know your base with your business?
Well, it's a skill set you learn, and to the point of the jingles. You know, I mean, that's what you got to compete with. That's
jingle bells.
You dealing with jingle bells, but you still have to relate to these people. And you have to understand, you know, I think, and you go all the way back to the beginning, it's about, hey, I'm learning. Everybody's a potential client now. So Walmart, Whole Foods, whatever you are, I'm selling it, and I need it because I'm starting my business. So
you 25% of something, and that's just it. I want 25 Walmart, 25 Whole Foods, I want 25 Sam's, and I think I'll take 25 from Kroger.
But you know, but as you grow and you develop your business, then you're able to like carve out different paths for, like, okay, I know this person wasted my time, but with any time, and this is just my philosophy, anytime somebody takes the time to want to get to know me, I'm going to give you some of my time, because who knows when I'm ever going to meet you again in life, or you might, like I say, you might not need me today, but you might need me some other time. So, you know, it's just being able to keep it brief, to be, you know, respectful yet stern. I'm not going to be rude to you. But hey, you know, there's nothing I can do for you right now.
At this moment in time.
I can't talk to you for 3 hours, okay?
But I can feel within the first hour if you're wasting my time, right, or you bull crapping me around, or you're really serious. And, you know, and it always is like I tell people, always in business, when you're doing business, and it's even if it's with family and friends, you have to charge them like you charge your customer that's off the street. Right. Because if they don't pay you, they're going to pay someone else. Right. And that's what a lot of small business owners don't understand. They feel like, oh, because it's family, I can't charge family. Because it's my friends, I can't charge my friends. Just don't do it for them, and I guarantee you they're going to go pay the person next door.
Why is that, though?
Because people feels that they're entitled to not pay you. They feel entitled to you giving it to them. They feels that just because you own a business, you shouldn't have to charge me. Oh, we done been through the mud together. We went to school together. But you got to realize, I got lights, payroll taxes. I got employees. I got rent. I got supplies.
A studio.
Like, I got a videographer. I mean, I got the snacks you didn't stuff in your pocket. So I got those things. Those are things that you got to have. And as you being your own business owner, you understand that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I definitely understand that. Especially not only just how to charge, but like you were saying, people, are they serious about it? I get people all the time, hey, man, you train, you know, what's your rates, doing all that, want to hit me up? Okay, take my number. All right, I'm going to call you, man. Don't really, it's like a lot of leads that don't really go further. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to know, like, again, pertaining to your client base, they want the Instagrams, they want to see it. You know, nobody's really trusting, even though they could be right there looking at you, train somebody, they still want to see results of past people. So this generation, I would say, wants things more microwavable and quick. They want to see the results right now as opposed to building something that's gonna last for real. You know what I'm saying?
You just gotta realize this though, and it helps you to identify those people aren't your base that want it microwave fast. You want the ones that be like that want to be that's a turkey that sits in the oven and takes a while to cook. You gotta realize that right now helped you identify that that isn't my base. Do too many people that wants to see it overnight. You got to go see Dr. a curve or somebody who's gonna suck all that out for you. But I need you to mentally understand that I need you to commit to me to 6 months. And if you commit to me for 6 months, we can see results. Mm-hmm. But then you got to understand is that you won't see it because me, I'm still, after I leave from training, I'm still going to get me a cheeseburger. But it doesn't relate to where you got to work out and you got to eat healthy. It's like, am I living?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I living?
It's a thin line.
Agreed.
I want that cheeseburger. I work out to eat a cheeseburger. And I think that's why I'm built the way I'm built because I'm not.
The problem is you eat them every day.
Yeah. And I want them every day. And I'm going to eat one today.
Just cut them in half, man. Cut it in half and see how you do with that.
Yeah. So this guy never told me that.
Oh, man. Okay.
So, look, I need to hire you for my injuries because I'm about to go get...
I put on 10 pounds.
I'm about to put on 10 pounds and it's about to be an accident. So, but I want to ask you this, buddy.
Hold up. Speaking of accidents, on the radio, we hear about all these different guys saying, oh, man, you went with that lawyer, he only got you $10,000. If you would have came to us, we could have got you $300,000. Can you explain what they're saying? Because everybody think they go get this big check.
Yes, everybody does think they're going to get a big check. While indeed some people do get a big check, but they are limited to what you can recover from the other party, or if you have coverage for yourself. Let's just use that same example, that person. Let's assume that $10,000 was the most that was available. Then they got them $10,000. That's all they could recover. They could have been split in half. $10,000 was all they're going to get. There's no magical formula to say, all right, I'm going to get you, $100,000 when you got, a $10,000 injury, but it's more severe because you're limited to what insurance is available to recover from. And most people don't know that. And if you listen to the fine disclaimers in these commercials, they tell you, but people gloss over that most times.
They don't tell you that at all. And that ain't in the commercial.
Right.
They don't tell you look at the policy after you had that accident and tell us what because I think it's on there, right?
Well, the policy won't be limited. And even with the $400,000, maybe that person had $1 million policy. So you still $600,000 short.
Sure, yeah.
But it sounds like a lot and you never know what that person went through. Not every injury is the same. Not every accident is the same. Not everybody is the same. Donald, he could be hard as a rock. So he can run into a wall and nothing happens to him.
I'm fragile, though.
You
have to use somebody else.
All right, so he's an eggshell.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's more like it. Let me just flat and just shake out it.
Yeah, so he runs into this wall and he just cracks apart. Meanwhile, I'm hard as a rock. I'll take it. I run into the same wall, same speed, same circumstance. I walk away, nothing's wrong with me. Mm-hmm. So it really all depends on every situation is different.
Definitely.
Yeah. Every situation is different.
So, but the thing is that when you have those clients that do come to you and trusted you and saw your commercial and saw your advertisement that I can get you the max, And I mean, I know it's frustrating because, you know, it's hard trying to tell someone about taxes. It's hard trying to teach someone taxes because you have to make them understand why you're not getting what you're getting or why you are getting this much. Why, you know, these are the things that you need to do. Because I tell people they need the tax plan prior to doing their taxes. So when you do have those clients, like I come in here and I take and say, well, okay, hey, buddy, I saw your commercial. Man, I got hit from the back, my neck, my shoulder, my hip. I'm limping in there. Look, my wife got a wheelchair in the hallway. She just pushed me in here. So, and then you get in there and they tell you say, well, I'm looking at the policy and number $10,000. How do you translate that for me to understand? After all, I didn't had the hype, the excitement to get all this money from you.
Thought you were finna get a bag.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, me and my old lady, we riding up there, and I'm like, we can get this new car. You see that car there? That's the one you get.
Listen, I want you to get it and I want you to have it, but that comes to being true to yourself. I'm always honest with people, and I'll give you the honest truth, even if that means me losing the sale, you know. And you just have to be able to be okay with that, because at the end of the day, when you go somewhere else and you still get them same $10,000, you're gonna be mad at that person that didn't tell you the truth.
That's true.
You know, and the next time you get hurt, and actually it's $1 million this time, you're gonna call me first, and that's fine by me. So,
but
you know,
I'm like, so when they do storm out and they do me mad, how do you calm them down? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how do you calm them down? It's like, let's say, hey, Joe Blow. You know, like, walk me through that scenario.
Well, and I'll tell you how I calm it down, because at the end of the day, you have insurance you can purchase for yourself. When you go out and you don't have the type of insurance to compensate you when someone else doesn't have it, there's no one else to blame but yourself.
And people don't know that. I just learned that just now.
Yeah, so, you know, you can buy insurance to protect yourself in the case that, you know.
From car insurance?
Car insurance, housing insurance, all kinds of insurance. You can have umbrella coverage.
So who do I need to sit down? I need to talk to my insurance agent or get down with someone else to make sure.
Because you can, you know, you can have coverage for that. Because there are times, most people are out here relying on you to have coverage. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But I really need to just have my own coverage. No matter what you got going on, I know I'm covered. You know? Mm-hmm. So when those things happen, really,
I'm just thinking like I got to make some phone calls.
So is the insurance that we buy, car insurance, is that for protection for us or for if we get in an accident for the other people?
Most times you can buy for both. You have liability coverage, and then you have underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage that you can add on. The state minimum in Georgia is $25,000 per person, $50,000 total. So it can be 10 people in the accident. If I got 25, 50. The most that policy is going to pay out is $50,000 of them 10 people, no matter what happened to them. Now, each individual person could have their own, you know, uninsured motorist coverage to compensate them for anything over and beyond.
So you can still sue your own insurance, is what you're saying, outside of that.
That's in Florida.
Huh?
Absolutely.
That's in Florida.
Yeah.
I know you can do that because insurance.
So, but you're an attorney, so you handle with accidents. I want to know what's curious. Like everybody, that Travis Scott thing, I don't feel like, I mean, I don't know much about it. Now, you know, of course, you can't say too much, but I want to know, how is everybody able to sue him? If they're able, that's an accident.
Well, let me tell you this. You can sue anybody for anything, don't mean you going to get any money for it.
Okay. So, that's what people have to realize.
You have to realize.
Because I see 50 Cent telling some girl, give me my money on Instagram.
Yeah, so, you know, and it's
Tierra Marie, by the way.
Oh, okay. She said you ain't getting it. She told him he ain't getting it. So, by the way,
you know, it's different
she
states
ain't
have
got it,
different
by the
laws.
way.
I don't know that. I can't say that.
Different states have different laws, you know, different types of injuries, different reasons why you're recovering. You know, so it genuinely all depends on what's going on. Let's just use the Travis Scott situation. I mean, I think it's a stretch to hold him accountable for the maintenance of a venue, which he unlocked it 0 times. He just showed up there.
Yes.
He was a security for nobody. But I don't know how to turn out. You know, I don't know the laws on Texas. I
didn't think it was
Texas,
fair.
Right?
Yeah. But I'm like, how are they going to sue this guy?
It seems
I don't know. So that's why I'm asking you, and I think it's a good thing to talk to someone that works in their field, that's a specialty in their field. So I wanted to know, like, how is it that they're able to sue him? And like you said, you just told me you can sue anybody for anything. But, you know, we talked to other, like I seen, from my learning, you know, talking to other people and stuff of that nature, it's like, okay, hey, you have to be able to tell the truth when you go in as an attorney. So how are you going to go in and just liably argue that he's, like you said, liable for this? And I mean, Losing a life, losing a family member, I don't think no amount of money can ever bring that person back and can never ease that pain that you're going through.
I agree with you.
I sympathize with every person that lost a loved one. I mean, especially, even that little kid that lost it. I think it was 11 years old. And especially when you as a parent to like, hey, I want to send my child to this. And, that's what you want to make your kids happy. They're like, oh, you want the memories. Because I seen a cute kid take a picture at the concert. So my heart goes out to, the families that, lost at lost their lives out there at that concert. Just constantly in prayer for them, to give them the support and the healing. But I just didn't understand how, so many people are able to sue. I just didn't understand that.
Yeah. And the saying goes, bad things happen to good people. And sometimes, just like in this situation, it just might not be a policy to recover from no matter what happens. That's just a hard reality.
So they can't sue him personally?
You can try.
Yeah.
Once again, you can sue anybody for anything. I don't know. Was he performing in his personal capacity?
I think they tried to sue him and
it's so many layers to
put the show on like Live Nation or something.
Trying to get to a person to bring this lawsuit and then to frame it in a way that it has a legal basis that you can pursue it in court.
But the question is, I want to ask you as an attorney, and it might, do you see, like, if that would have happened here in Georgia, would you and your team would have went out there and tried to recruit those people? Y'all would have saw it
That's
that
not
way?
the kind of case I would pursue.
Okay.
Personally. That's not something my firm would want to take on. It's just not.
Not what you deal with.
Not what I would deal with.
And what type of clients you like?
Yeah, like I said, I like the injury cases where, you got a trucking accident, you got a car accident. You might have slipped and fell in a mall. You might have slipped and fell in Kroger, Walmart, those types of injuries. You might have gotten attacked by this dog. You've been telling your neighbor, you've seen this dog chase people down the street. It's very aggressive. Your neighbor lets it loose, and now it's caused you severe permanent injuries where you got permanent scarring. I had a dog attack a little girl. She was 10 years old. She has permanent scarring for the rest of her life. So those kind of things, those are the kind of cases that I deal with.
So the pandemic hit. In your case, nobody going outside, nobody going to work.
And the courts are closed.
Huh?
The courts have been closed.
So your business, how the heck did you survive during the pandemic with that time where it's nothing like, because you can't get revenue. Your client base is stuck inside basically. So how did your business handle that?
Let me tell you, article I just read the other day, there were more accidents over the pandemic than there were in the 5 years preceding.
How?
Because people were tired of being, cooped up in the house. People were drinking excessively. People were just trying to look for some sense of relief. So my business actually did not slow down. It was still ongoing. People were still getting in accidents. People were still doing things,
So how did you handle that though? So like, okay, the city says they say close down. How were you getting your calls? How was your staff helping those people? Because as a business owner, and that's something people don't realize. Like, because the pandemic, a lot of people lost their business during that time.
Yep.
Like you said, yours improved, but the thing is that you were prepared for that because you had to receive those calls some kind of way. So what was your mindset when it got out that everybody can't go outside?
I don't think anybody could have prepared for this.
At all.
Nobody was prepared for this. So, like you said, you have to adjust and get ready for the new world, whatever it may be, whether it's moving from MySpace to...
Y'all not going to let me let that down.
No, we not. We not. So you just have to be ready to adjust. I mean, there was a time where, we really thought, hey, we never be even coming back in the office. So now we got to get everybody laptops. We got to be able to be remote. Like, how is that going to work? How are we going to talk to people? How are people going to find us? How are we going to pay, the bills? We don't know how this is going to go.
So that's why when you say all those things hit you, and as a boss, was you sad? Was you depressed? Was you like, I got in mode to where as though I got to just get it going?
I mean, that's the mode you have to stay in 24/7, no matter what. I'm in that mode now. I was in it yesterday. I'll be in it tomorrow.
So you eat what you kill.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And that's what I tell business on. That's why I wrote the book. When I wrote the book, it was like eat what you kill, and people have to get to it. In business, it doesn't come knocking at your door. Yes, if you own a McDonald's, people are going to pass and see the sign, they're going to come by. But in most small business owners, and as you can see, like you say, you're talking to people, they can see you working. But if you don't eat what you kill.
And the important thing, every business starts as something.
Mm-hmm.
Some, might have had 2 stores, 1 store. But no business just comes out as a full-fledged corporation.
They think it.
It
They think it
starts
does.
as an idea.
No, they start. No. When people call you and they say, "Well, okay, I need $500. You got it. You're a business owner." You see the shell of the house. Come inside, because I ain't got nothing for you to sit on.
So they all start and they all have to grow. And I think the important part is having the structure and the knowledge and being able to reach out to different people and being willing to change and grow.
That's hard.
It is hard.
Because it's even harder for me, and I've been in business for quite some time, over a decade, almost 2 decades, and it's still hard for me to adjust and change because right now they're telling me, Donald, we have to go to this part to where we have to help people, we have to educate people, you have so much knowledge to give, and it's like, I got to get down to YouTube now. I would have never thought that I'll be on YouTube. In a million years, you'd asked me this last year, I'd been like, no, get out of here. Right. Because I've been asked to be on TV shows. I've been asked to do the little live.
What show? Love and Hip Hop?
No.
Okay.
No.
Show, man.
No, I'm not going to do Love and Hip Hop, but I've been asked to be on TV shows and reality shows because, they talk about a lot as single entrepreneurs trying to find love, some stuff like that one day. And I was like,
close.
Yeah.
New love was in there. New love was in there.
But love is in there. They see it in my future. They just know it's in my future. So, yes, it was in there. But I was like, no, this wouldn't be me. I mean, honestly, you and I, we've been friends over a decade. When have we ever sat down and said we're going to be sitting on YouTube? Was that our idea?
No, never.
I just was at your office 2 weeks ago.
Right.
A few weeks ago, about a month ago. No, I'm lying. About a month ago, I came to get the check for the sponsorship. Thank you so much. Hosting and Huntley going to be blasted all over my event. Thank you. Yes. But it's like, I've never thought this would be me. I'm the guy that likes to go under the radar. I like to mind my own self. But people sees me, they says, you a people's person. You like to talk. You like to, you have a personality that just flamboyant, in other words. You're just wow. So, and it's just the thing is, I never thought that this would be me. So when you're talking about timing and adjusting, I don't know. I mean, a lot of business owners, like I go in places. I was in LA this week with my team last week. And we went to eat, and when we walked in the restaurant, they were like, oh, you actually coming to sit down and eat? Like, they had a table full of DoorDash or Uber Eats orders. Yeah. Like, and nobody leaves home now. What is this world coming to?
Yeah, it's different. It's a new world.
Yeah.
Are we going to do any human interaction, socializing, besides having house parties and having drinks to post on Instagram, and that's it? We're losing, us, the world.
Listen, if it's on Instagram, it's real.
I'm dead.
Yeah, but and everything that be posted on Instagram don't be real. But I'm like,
so I like real.
I called you today, and you told me stay off of Instagram. I called him today.
You lives on it.
I know he does, and I told him to get off.
He told me get off Instagram. I sent him something today. I took and say, what's this on Instagram? He's like, you need to stay off Instagram. It ain't real. We ain't gonna say what it is, but we ain't gonna say what it is. We gonna just let that be.
Because he was asking me these questions. I'm like, where is this? What are you talking about? I don't know. What is this?
And he said,
and he's like, it's on Instagram. I said, man, if you don't get off my phone with this,
so my Instagram,
Instagram and Facebook is the new way for people to socialize and interact.
Yeah.
I think it's good to network. I think it's good to interact, but I do think parents need to limit their kids to it. I think they need to limit themselves to it. And the reason being is, I remember coming home when the lights we couldn't come home but if the porch lights went out, the street lights went out, we had better been home. We get in trouble. I remember when the fire department would come out there and have to turn the fire hose off because we didn't took somebody monkey wrench to turn the water on and drinking water. We didn't have a pool in the hood. That was our pool. And we all go get our shorts and shirts, and our parents let us do it.
Had a good ass time.
Good time. It was like, what's that movie? Do the Right Thing.
But see, you know what this is comparable to? Your cheeseburgers. That's what Instagram is. And now people are eating them every day. You need to cut them in half. That's all we saying.
Now, honestly though,
great comparison.
That's what
good thing about it is though, some days I'll be sitting down and I look at my phone. I was like, damn, I ain't do Instagram. I was like, I ain't been on here in a minute. Like, okay, let me do my little daily check-in and then get off. But when you're on in the business, you can't really be there that much. it's too much. I now have a social media person, a social media team to help me keep up. But that's in business, because if you rely on me to do it, I might be sitting down taking a picture of a cheeseburger. You know that. I might be taking a picture of me like, oh, I'm looking good in the car, and I'm about to take a selfie. That's the stuff I'm be posting. My team got to get with me, be like, okay, Mr. Williams, let's get down. Let's see what this is. Well, I'm lying. They don't call me Mr. Williams. Donald, this is what we're doing. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll give you this information. Let's talk about these topics. Let's give them this information. And then it's no engagement there. I'm giving you free knowledge. I'm telling you about LLCs, telling you how to run it, how to set up your company, how to give you tips and stuff, but then they don't like it. But let me go ahead and put on me some little shorts and a little T-shirt and go to dancing and shaking, and I got likes, I got views, and it's like, oh, you're doing well. How do you handle that?
As far as social media, how I handle it? Like, as far as me doing that or liking that kind of stuff?
Both. Talk to us. You're a business owner. How you deal with it? How you deal with social media?
To be honest, man, I'm really like a dinosaur to it. I'm not big on social media like that. I don't know why you making this face. How many times have you told me, hey, man, you need to start your IG page for fitness? And I'm like, man, I just ain't on that.
Not for business, you're not on it.
Okay, well, let's do this. How many times do you send me a DM and it be like 3 hours till I see it, but then if I send you something, it be like right back and you see it?
I mean, because, I get the alerts. Your phone just be on silent. It's a difference. I don't have to be on Instagram to get it.
Hold up.
Come on.
So you think I'm on Instagram and just not answering?
I don't know.
Come on,
honestly, I don't time when I send somebody something if they respond. Because some people may respond the next day. People be busy. Like, sometimes I'll get a DM and I'll look at it and want to respond and then forget and put the phone down. Because, when you're a business, honestly, once I get up in the morning, it's like lights, camera, action. It's like, because everything is early in the morning, people feel they got to call you. They got to call you early in the morning because everybody got to feel, I need to call today to ask these questions today because they can't wait till later. It can't wait till tomorrow. So my mornings are extremely busy with clients because everybody wants to have knowledgeable questions. Like, can I buy this car? Should I buy this equipment? Should I buy this? Can I go get this candy? Can I, what I do? Tax time coming up. Can my child work this year? Can I carry him? So, but again, you follow my business on social media, read it. I talk about it. And that's the thing.
I think the hardest thing, getting people engaged with it too. You gotta have people
got short attention spans.
Short attention spans. You gotta keep them engaged.
So when you did your commercial,
you see all these jingles.
Yeah.
When you do the commercials, you gotta think about that. You gotta have something that's straight to the point and getting your message across. And it turned out to be a lot harder than I thought it would be. And it's still a work in progress because you always developing.
How many takes it took you when you did your commercial?
I don't think we can count that high. We don't have time, but it took.
But you're an attorney.
Yeah.
You speak in court
all the time. I had the script. I had to memorize. Didn't matter because you gotta. It's different. It's different. That's all.
So you're a boss. Different. You're an attorney, but your boss that's over in a law firm. And you go to court and you can speak in front of the judge. Do you get stuck with that or you just flow through with it?
What do you mean?
So when you go to jail, like you said, if you had the script memorized, you was like, okay. So when you get into front of the judge, do you be like, Your Honor? I think that's what they still say, right? Your Honor? Yeah. So do you flow there because you still lights, camera, people looking at you?
No, it's different. It's just way different. It's way different. Because you got people there that are reacting to you, they're responding to you. You get a sense of what they feeling with the camera. Mm-hmm. Nobody looking back at you. Nobody talking to you. It's just a shining light in your face. And it's quiet. And you just got to...
I be like...
Yeah.
This me. The guy be like, Donald, come on. You can do it. You can do it. And I'm like, am I and little crazy? I'm like, what's going on with me? Why can't I talk?
And another parallel for me being an athlete was people always ask me, like, playing in front of all these fans is hard. You get nervous. It's really like they're not even there. But when I get in front and, like, have interviews or, anything of that such, it's kind of, like, harder because it's like now I'm focused on where my hands at. Am I saying too much? Am I looking down? It's like it's more focused on me, I would say. So I could kind of see the correlation of why it would be harder to shoot a commercial as far as just going through it because it's just more organic when it's a real situation.
Yeah, and then you like trying to emphasize certain points, you know. You trying to, like you said, my hands here. Am I using my hands too much? Am I doing this? Am I looking straight?
Like, no, I didn't rub my hands.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I say
so many.
I don't know.
You said it a lot tonight.
I didn't.
It's been a natural conversation.
It's natural, so that means I think I do this better. So my commercial is gonna be natural conversations from here on out.
And one of the ones I tried to do, you know, I'll tell you about it.
Wait a minute. And speaking of,
you know, they were trying to have a conversation like we having now, but I was like, it wasn't good.
But
it wasn't good.
But again, as a boss, they're like, Donald, everybody wants to see you. And I just had to wash my face, and I looked in the mirror, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to give them me. And I had to take on a leap of faith. And I'm not trying to be a celebrity. I'm not trying to be all over TV. But what I am trying to do is educate people, help them understand business, and help them understand that just because you get an LLC, you don't have a business. You have a certification that you just did with the state. But, baby, a business, you don't even have to have employees. You just have to engage with those customers, and you have to solve those problems day to day.
Really and truthfully, I think if people knew really what it took, most people wouldn't want to do it because it's very difficult.
Nothing small about business and small business. It's nothing small. There's nothing small about small business. There's nothing. And I want to know, like me, I when I started my business, it was by accident. I will say that, but it was fun. I like management. I like leadership, but I didn't know all this was entail. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I had to buy staplers. I didn't realize I had to buy the staples to go in the stapler. I didn't realize I had to buy paper. And I didn't realize I had to buy a tray for paper to go in. I got to buy your desk. I got to buy your chair. I got to buy stickers. I got to buy ink pens. I got to buy the ink pen holder. I got to buy the mouse. I buy the mouse pad. I got to buy the shield to go over the computer. I got to buy the cans for the trash. I got to buy the trash bags. I got to pay somebody to clean up the office. I got to pay somebody to vacuum clean. I got to buy the drinks. I got to buy the snacks. The list goes on and on. If I would have known this is what you takes to start a business, I'd have been like, can I have a job, please? like, can I have a job, please?
And that's what, you know, everybody that doesn't own a business or thinking about doing it, they only see, you know, the fun side. It's like, oh, you get to go to work when you want. You get to do this. You get to do that. Mm-hmm. You get to keep all this money, or, you know, it's just.
But you don't get to go to work. You don't get to go to work when you want.
No, that's what I say.
That's a myth.
It's a myth.
You cannot. You mean to tell me if I have a client meetings for 9 o'clock in the morning, I get to go to work when I want? No, I got to be at work before 9 o'clock to have that meeting.
And if it's at 9 o'clock at night, because that's the only time they can meet.
I got to go to work at 9 o'clock at night. I do not. You know, I admire people that can manage their business and do that. But if you have a business, you're gonna have to get people that you can trust, and you're gonna have to get people that's going to be to operate your business more like it's their business. They can't just feel like, oh, I'm an employee. You want to find that person that can operate and care about your business as much as you do. Like if you're trying, you know, like you're training, you get a contract to train. You're not gonna. And then you have clients in the morning. You have clients in the evening. Then you have clients that you have another contract that wants to say, okay, hey, I got this contract with people that I want you to come train my employees between 12 and 2. Corporate contract. You stay in the company, you stay in the gym, and you just train anybody who comes in from 12 to 2. But you get 3 clients that's like that. You got to find somebody to trust to be over there to meet those clients. Yeah. Because you can't be in 2 places at one time. Yep.
That's all true.
And I tell them, you can't work on and in the business at the same time. Something's going to fail. And something is going to fall back. So not fall back, but the ball's going to drop somewhere. And the growth isn't going to be there. You're going to be stagnant. You're going to be having to look at those clients to be like, okay, bring your sister next weekend, or get your other coworker to come down, or I can do you outside. You need a little bit more exercise. Those are things you're going to have to do to supplement the income, because you can't be at 2 different places at the same time. You got to prepare mentally. What I put in my book, essentially when you hire your employees, you're preparing them for their next job. Some people do retire from the same company. Some do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have a friend right now retiring from the government after 42 years.
Right.
That's admirable. She been there 42 years, baby. You had to come completely straight from school. high school, basically. But I know someone that has a job for 47 years. They have people that don't. Everybody doesn't want to own a business. Everybody's not meant for everybody to own a business.
It's not.
People want security.
Yeah.
Security, and everybody don't want to deal with the responsibility. Owning a business, you have to be selfless. You cannot be a selfish person owning a business because the decisions that you're making aren't decisions you're making for yourself. You're making those decisions on behalf of other people. And when you get money that comes into the company, you can't just take it and run and say, okay, I got this big check that came in. I'm going to go spend it. Not when you got 10 employees that's with you for the rest of the year and you got payroll every 2 weeks. You got to focus on that check. Is once you get the first check, it's gone. You got to be looking at the 5th or 6th check. Then you make and see something. But if that 5th or 6th check don't come to the end of the year, you need to be looking on a 10th or 11th check. You cannot look at that first check like, I got this first check. I got $1,500 for this client. I'm doing good. I'm going home for the day and give me some dinner. No, baby. That's not how that works. You got to be looking on that 5th or 6th check because that $1,500, people don't understand that it takes a lot to operate your business in one day. Calculate your expenses for the month and divide it by 30. And that's how much money you need to generate every day to operate your business. And if it costs you $30,000 to operate your business each month, you need to officially make $1,000 every day before you can see any penny after that. Because automatically off top, you're operating in the negative. You have to, business owners don't realize that. They be like, okay, I work from home. I got this little contract. I see this little $3,500 contract, but you've been working on this contract for 6 months. Baby, what's your time work? $10 an hour? You got to look at your time.
Right. That's right.
So, and that's just what it is. It's with business and what people got to realize. It takes a lot.
And, I think not being able to prepare for the pandemic, you got to operate like that before it happens. And if you're already operating like that, that's how you stay ahead of it. That's how you stay in business.
But the thing about it is though, but people, when the pandemic hit, some people closed their business down. Like, okay, I don't know, I'm not prepared for this. Right. And everybody is okay, but all business owners can't deal with stress. Right. And they don't. They can't deal with stress. And it's like, people ask me this, like, even though your lifestyle, the type of person that you are, people feel like, they're like, but when you walk in the room, you come with confidence. Because I don't feel that I'm an intimidating person. Especially for my life, people may think I'm a pushover. Because, when they think certain lifestyles you live, they want to tend to think that you're a pushover. But my confidence, my strength, to me, I have to get it done by any means necessary. And I tell my team, I say, don't come tell me that the fax machine is broke. You need to come back and tell me it's been faxed. Because I'm going to look at you and ask you, you want me to fax it? Because that you clearly what you're telling me, hey, Donald, the fax machine broke, so it just don't get faxed. Because I can't drop the ball on your paycheck.
You cannot. Well, you can.
I cannot. You let some. I think they respect you when they work for you, but you mess with their money, you got a problem. They want to fight you. You cannot play with someone's payroll, and that's something I look at. And I don't have an option of plan B. And I think Will and Jada said people asked them what made their relationship so strong. They stated that the divorce wasn't an option, and I look at that in business. I don't have an exit strategy. And they tell you to normally tend to have an exit strategy in business, but I don't give myself an exit strategy. I give myself that I got to give it done because when you have an exit strategy or that feels that, hey, I don't have to deal with it, I can just go and do this, it takes the motivation out of you. It takes the drive. It makes you relax. It makes you get comfortable. You cannot not be non-motivated. I can't teach you motivation, but you cannot be too relaxed. You don't have other options. The option is that I have to get it done. I have to pay rent. I tell my employees that. 2 things. My job is make sure you get paid and make sure your key work at that front door. Sounds simple, but so much come with it.
It's a lot of work.
And how you handle that?
Well, you show up every day with your hard hat on and you get to work. You plan, you prepare. You take steps and no matter how much planning and preparing you do, sometimes you need a little luck on your side. And most times, if you can stay around long enough, you're gonna get that break that you need. You know, it's just having the fortitude to fight through. Because you're going to have those pitfalls. You're going to fall short sometimes. But planning and preparation will help you. You just got to fight through it and wait on that break to come through.
So what advice you would give, because you're a very smart guy. You know, I talk to you about a lot, especially personally, and I get a lot of advice from you. You know, you're one of the first people, if I need advice, you know, I'm texting you, I'm calling you. So what advice you give lawyers that's coming first out of college? Because I met you pretty young. You know, in your younger days, I'll say that. You know, in your much younger days.
Much younger days. Much younger days.
So I want to know what advice you, because you did you get a job or you started straight?
I started my own firm right out the gate.
So you was bred to be what made you like, I don't want to work for no one?
I graduated law school at a time in another recession. And nobody was hiring, and it's, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
No choice.
You have no choice. I mean, I always wanted to, and I always thought I would be, but it forced it a lot sooner than what I had planned on it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, you just plan and prepare to do what you can do. You know, you get out. How did I meet you? Because I'm out talking all day, talking to anybody who's gonna talk to me. Because I gotta develop my business.
So, but was it scary?
Of course it's scary. Every day is scary because you never know. Like, hey, I look at every client like it could be my last client. I can never get another one. So you got to prepare for it like that every day.
But I teach people. Your old client can be your new client.
Yeah.
That's your ex can be your next.
Right. But, you know, you got to stay in front of them. It's just so many things you have to do to cultivate that, you know, over time. But as far as just starting and being scared and being worried, those things are going to come with it. And it's nothing you can do to get around it. Like you said, the rent's due, payroll is due. Every 2 weeks, it's due.
So when you have those situations when you got scared, what motivated you to do it? Because at that time when I met you, you didn't have any employees. I didn't have any employees.
Right.
So what motivated you to keep going?
Failure just was not an option. You know, failure was just
no
not
option,
an
no exit strategy.
Yeah.
You have none. It's just
no
it.
option.
It's just A or nothing. It's not all of the
Right.
above.
No, it's not an option, and you'll do. We were talking earlier.
Uh-huh.
You know, he said, these injury cases, you don't get paid. I don't get paid until my clients get paid.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, how many cases do you need? I said, I only need one because if I have to go mop floors, make hamburgers, it don't matter what I got to do to make this thing work. That's what I'm gonna do.
But
And
that's
the
the
number
thing.
one thing: sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice everything to achieve your goal.
Mm-hmm.
That includes family relationships, personal relationships, financial relationships. You just got to be ready to sacrifice everything to go after what you want.
I know someone that's doing their business, and you're speaking. It's ironic that you said sacrifice, and it was like, Donald, what do? I have this going. I'm like, you got to realize this. This is your baby, and when you have this, you can't. You got everybody that you're with, and I was telling you guys this earlier that we was talking, off camera. I was like, when you get into business, if you're married, your spouse have to be willing to marry your business with you. They have to be on board. You cannot be with someone that you starting your own business and then they gotta realize, like, if the money ain't make no money, they gotta want to pay the bills. And most women be like, I'm not gonna say I'll take that back, but some people in a relationship, because it's just not even women, it can be men too. People in a relationship that your spouse and your significant others, they'll be like, I don't want to pay the bills. Why? A ain't working, or this and that. This ain't. Look, when is this gonna kick off? When you gonna get your break? They don't see the 5 to 10 years down the line. But you gotta realize, starting training. They gotta see it. They gotta see that you training, you're getting up, and you got these clients. Yeah, they may put gas in the car, they may buy food, it may pay the light bill, but is it gonna pay the gas, the food, the light bill, the rent, and every car insurance, the nightlife, gonna pay the stuff to get clothes? Is it gonna pay to get the household supplies? Is it gonna pay the life insurance? Is it gonna pay, the trips that you want to take? That's gonna be like, I want this new item. I can't go get it because I gotta pay this bill, and then financial hardship, as you know, even with bankruptcy. And you work with people in bankruptcy, and you see couples that come with bankruptcy. And financial, in a relationship, financial problems causes this. I think I read that somewhere. It's like a number one lead to divorce.
It's the number one cause.
Now, how you handle that when you have a couple that's coming in there and they filing bankruptcy because it's the significant other? How would you handle that? Because they're gonna be mad.
Well, that's not my business. Number one,
You gotta be a counselor. You can't tell me you're not a counselor in business.
I am there to tell them what went wrong and how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how they go about on their day-to-day life, I cannot control or tell them about that. But I can point out like, hey, you doing this, just causing this. You need to change. You need to stop doing this. So y'all don't do it. You got to work together. So most times people, they're at that breaking point anyway. So they're more receptive to it. And sometimes, like you say, it's just listening. Sometimes it's just hearing what people have to say about what they have going on. The thing is, it's always manageable, but it's the choices you make. The choice you make is going to make your situation better, stay the same, or worse.
Yeah.
So you got to start making these tough decisions, and it comes back to that sacrifice. You got to be willing to make these tough decisions.
And everybody don't want to make the tough decision. They don't want to make the tough decision, but also they don't also want to do what it takes. I think they're throwing in the towel, people throwing the towel. Yeah. I think it's for rich or for poor, but some people say, well, it ain't for being a damn fool. So, you don't want to. Some people may feel like, oh, it's a taking advantage situation. Someone's taking advantage of my kindness, like they're not appreciating that. All stories, whatever, it's a multitude, like a multiple of things and reasons that people take and feel like, okay, why they want to, get a divorce over financial situations. But you've been in an arena and helping them. How do you help them to rebuild with that? And how do you tell them, like, hey, don't be upset. This would help relief with you. This would help with your family. This will help you get back on your feet.
I tell them just like that, but they just have to be receptive to it. And want, I tell people the things they don't want to hear a lot of times. I mean, people cry, they scream at me. It's an emotional thing for people, and for me, I understand that. And I try to tell them all the time, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. So, the more you can listen to me and understand, the better off you'll be, because you will think with clarity and you can make an informed decision. That is always my goal when I talk to all clients. I want to help you make an informed decision. So once you make that informed decision, you'll know, some people choose to continue on the downward spiral, but they always end up calling back and say, hey, I wish I'd have listened to you. I could be a year ahead of where I was last year if I'd have just listened to you then. But sometimes people learn different. We talked about that. Some people just, they're going to see it. You can show them, and they'll say, okay, I see what you're saying. Let's go and do it. Some people, like myself, I'm going to do it my way, and then it don't work. Well, I learned.
Now I got to do it this way. So I'm back to square one.
Back to square one.
And that's me. I just got to do it. Like, you got to give it to me. I got to do it. And I might do it a few times, but I don't want to fail at it. But I just understand it. But like you said, you having to get across to them and making them understand, like, hey, because when they come to you, they're looking for relief.
Absolutely.
They're looking for a peace of mind. They're looking for the stressors that they had on their mind, like, oh my gosh, this guy, I'm going through so much. I got the collectors calling me. I'm about to lose my car. I'm about to lose my house.
They want to know everything will be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody calls my office with happy stories. It's never
lullabies and lollipops. It's not like you a car dealership. They're calling you because their back's against the wall.
It's a stressful situation, whether you're going through financial hardship or whether you might even lost someone in an accident.
Yeah.
It's never just peaches and cream. Never.
So when they lose someone in an accident and someone is new to come to you, how do you handle that? Because for one, it's an emotional conversation.
It's very emotional, and everybody handles it differently. They just have to be ready to, move forward, because everybody grieves differently. Everybody deals with injury differently. Everybody deals with just the pitfalls of life differently. So my job is to be able to adapt and handle it all and, guide you through whatever process you're going through.
So if you can teach some new attorneys that's coming out that want to start their own business and they having to want to get into injury, be an injury attorney or deal with bankruptcy, what advice would you give to them and how to deal with that and handle that?
Yeah, it goes back. Be ready to sacrifice, be empathetic, and have compassion for people. At the end of the day, a lot of times we don't get paid until we recover something. And sometimes there's nothing there. Just like I said, the worst thing can happen to somebody and you get nothing. That means I get nothing no matter how much time I spent with you. So just be prepared to sacrifice and go the long haul And, like the old saying, this is a marathon and not a race. It is very true.
And your field, and that's what you would tell them, and you would tell those up-and-coming attorneys.
Yeah.
And so what would you give some advice? Because, being an attorney, you know the laws and you understand the laws, but what advice a business owner, and there are probably some that going through experience and starting their own business and having to.
So for those, you got two aspects of it. You have, being a lawyer and running a business. Those are two different things. You got to be prepared to do both and not connect both of them. Don't think because you're good at one, you're going to be good at the other one. Laws are always changing. Business is always changing. Be ready to adapt. Find people you can talk to that you can relate to. Sometimes it's your peers. Sometimes it might be a mentor or some.
I tell everybody in business, get a mentor.
Yeah.
I advise everybody in business, and I've been in business almost 20 years, a couple of decades. Yes, I'm telling my age. Yes, I'm old.
We gathered that.
But I'm still, I'm still a little fly, But I tell people all the time, get your mentor. I still have a mentor. Okay. I have a mentor in business. I still have him. I call him. I talk to him. I'm like, handle situations, and but it's good to have a mentor. And a mentor is someone you trust, someone that you don't have to pay, someone that wants to see the best in you, someone that have experience, someone that wants to tell you about business but want to see you get to the next level. I remember my mentor, when I was with my business and I was having a tough patch, my mentor even took his personal credit card and charged computers for my company. I needed computers, and bought me brand new computers from Dell. He did that for me. And of course I paid him back, but at that moment, he still believed in my business. Most people would have been like, you need to close your business down.
Yeah, looking tough.
Looking tough.
Looking tough.
But and that's the thing about when you have people, and I tell people that just because, prime example, everybody always want to post on social media that, your friends don't support you, your family don't support you. That's not your audience. And you can't look at them. They're not. You sometimes you have that. You're blessed. That luck. You won the lottery if you have that support from those people. But you have to realize this: your support is going to not be your family. It's not. Because they won't be able to use your service all day long. They may want to, but then you're gonna feel sorry. You're gonna want to give them a discount and stuff of that nature. Honestly, I don't do my family taxes. I don't do that. I don't do business with them. And it's not because I dislike them. It's that this is what I charge, this is what I want, and I'm very stern. Because you got to realize, this is my business.
Yeah, I think you just have to make that clear. And, I'm the opposite of that. I think that's your fundamental base. Because those are the people that's going to go run and tell everybody about how amazing you are.
Because you got to realize, people would cheer you up from where I'm at. They would cheer you up. And when you get there, they will cheer you down.
Well, they're going to help you get there. What you do when you get there is on you.
Yeah, but at the same token, when you do get there, they're going to want to bring you back down. Because it's just you change. You're better than them. You all that.
No, some people are going to be that way. But you still got to develop, nurture new relationships. Nobody's saying you got to stay there with them. But, if they helped you get there, you're going to be there. And they might, as long as they talking about you, it's spreading. And you can't stop it from spreading. Once it spreads, it's going to take off.
That's very interesting. So I'm going to look at that. I learned something new in business, and I hope the listeners and the viewers learn something and hope that they learn. I just learned something in this podcast, so now I'm going to have to get back to the drawing board again, and I'm going to have to start all over again. But it's, I've learned something new, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I want to share. Bring people, like-kind business owners, and together. And I think that people don't get that. They get people talking about pretentious things that, pretending to be or more. And, people can write a book and say a lot of things. But I want to go behind the scenes. I want to get the person to sit down and talk about, hey, Donald, some days I didn't make payroll. Some days I couldn't pay rent. And honestly, in business, it was sometimes I couldn't pay rent.
Right.
It was sometimes that I had to go home and eat noodles. But I had payroll. And I had to eat noodles today. I had to eat noodles the next day. I had to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And that's why I said you have to be a selfless person. And some people be like, well, some people viewing it's like you done things differently. You might have spent money this way. You might have spent that. Baby, at the end of the day, it just wasn't right there at that moment in time when I had to pay it. Yeah. So noodles is what it is that I had to eat. Because in business, I tell people, when you get in a situation, sometimes that business plan got to go out the window. You need to solve that problem.
Gotta solve it. Gotta
put that fire out.
Yeah.
You gotta put it.
You know, it's funny. Like, to this day, if I'm in the office, I bring my lunch to office. I don't, people say.
You don't get a lunch break.
Yeah, people say, I need a raise or something. I'm like, well, you going out to eat every day, so you can't need one because you eating pretty good. I brought my lunch today, but you eating out.
But you know the thing about it, I don't even pack and bring my lunch. That's something I don't. I tell my team members, y'all fly, I buy.
Y'all eat real good.
That's what you're paying them real good.
But that's a mentality that I think you always got to keep and have. I can't get away from it.
You just bring your lunch to work every day.
Every day it's gonna be.
So how long of a lunch break do you take?
You don't. You get it when you can. You got to do better at it. You have to carve out time because you got to stay healthy. If you're not healthy, you can't do your job right. You know. Okay. So just like you want to get fit, work out.
I'm gonna get my burgers. You gotta realize I ate noodles with this business for a long time. I am due a burger. A burger.
Singular.
Today. Yeah. But what about tomorrow? Because you gotta realize I ate them noodles, but I can't shy on noodles. Because noodles is good when you add the right seasoning and add a little cheese. I done got creative with them. I done chopped up some little Frank wieners and mixed them up with some onions and bell peppers and made me some scampi, I guess it's called.
I wouldn't call that scampi, but you could call this, I don't know if I would call it.
But that's what I had to do at that time. And I tell people that sometimes if you don't have a belt on, you need to take in business, and I look at it, you don't have a belt on, take your shoestrings out and your time around your waist to hold your pants up. You have to do what you have to do in business to survive. No, I'm not saying go rob a bank. No, I'm not saying rob anyone. No, I'm not saying kill or motivate. What I am saying is that every day you need to get ready to be swinging for the fences.
Well, you just said it. You solved the problem. You didn't have a belt. You got to use a shoestring. It's different ways.
There's different ways.
It's different ways to solve the problem.
I'll get a garbage bag and put it through it and tie it on a plastic bag. By any means necessary, hold them pants up. So give me some good tips you would give for business owners. Like give me some of your favorite quotes or tips or something that you would want to tell motivating to people.
Listen, man, I don't necessarily have any quotes. I've given you a lot of my business philosophies today. It's you never give up. Always plan for the future. You know, treat your last like it's your first. You have to.
That's pretty good. That's dope. And I won't give up. I'm going to treat my last like it's my first. And I'm emotional because this is my first podcast. And I hope I was very informative. I know I wasn't perfect. I hope that whatever listeners that I do have that come on board, I hope that you be patient with me. But I promise, my promise to you guys or to anybody that's watching and viewing, I'm going to give you the real me. You may not like it. You may not think it's the best. You may not feel that it's the most professional. But I hope that someday you do appreciate it. And you do feel that this is what I need because some people feel I want them to be like, okay, hey, I had a tough day. But Donald, the things he told me to hang in there and keep swinging. And I'm not saying go bankrupt. I'm not, then you call him Buddy, that hosting in Huntley. But I'm not saying take your life savings away. You got to know when to throw in the towel, like with everything. Right. But you don't just give up so easy. I tell people that if I give them relationship advice and I'm going to tell them, I'll give you guys the same business advice. It's still, it's still the same. Before you get divorced, make sure you've done all you can to save your marriage. And after you've done all you can, then you know it's time to go. And in business, before you close those doors, make sure you've done all you can. Don't just feel like, oh, I don't have it today or I can't afford it today. Then I'm letting go. You may have to go get a bank loan. You may have to call that friend and borrow some money. Because I borrowed money from people to keep my business operating when it was tough time. Somebody charged me 50%. I borrowed $20,000. I had to pay them $12,500 back. in 3 months. Additional $12,500 on top. So just think of not having a $20,000, needing a $20,000 to then now needing $32,500. But those are the dances that I had to do at that moment in time to keep my business going. And I hope people, my followers, my crew, that comes to be on this journey with me, appreciate the honesty and understand and hope and build from it, and share with me if you want to learn something else, or different topics you want to talk about, things you have questions about. Let me know, because I don't mind, giving it to them. But I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart to doing my first podcast with me. When I'm nervous, when I'm scared, in Crocs, talking about MySpace. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming to us, trying to co-host with me today. One of my good friends, my trainer. Yes, I am eating burgers. Yes, I will be eating burgers. And yes, I won't stop eating burgers. So I appreciate you coming, and you being an entrepreneur, and, coming from, working in the pros, being in the pros, and now owning your business and entrepreneurship. So, of course, you'll be here many more to host with me, so we'll get more information from you to share with the viewers.
Yeah, I know it's your first, but you got to drop your business thing. You got to.
Ferrari Fit, man. Ferrari Fit is the name of the business.
Say what now?
Ferrari Fit.
The car?
Basically. I actually got the name. It's one of my nicknames I got from my good friends, and it kind of stuck with me, and I like the name. And I just put it together with Fit instead of using my regular name. It's also my LLC as well, so.
Your LLC to do what?
My business name.
Okay. That's a good thing, and get something, stick with it, so that's your brand.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari. So, of course, we'll have more time, but, buddy, I don't want to keep you all night because.
I appreciate you having me.
Because you got to get up and you got to start that day tomorrow. Because people don't realize what you do, the way you ended, ain't the way how you started the next day.
It starts all over.
All over. And every day in business presents its own problem.
Yep. It's waiting for me tomorrow, and I'm ready to tackle it.
Okay. And check a list. So thank you, guys, and continue listening. Like and follow us on Facebook, and you're going to see the little tags, and follow us on Instagram, and click like. I guess they say click like, click share, and, get 25% of this information, and use it, and hope you can retain it, and have a good day.